news is that a 26-year-old man has been arrested near Altoona, Pennsylvania, or is in custody, shall we say, that he was on a bus. The bus had apparently stopped at a McDonald's, and one of the workers at the McDonald's dialed 911 and said, "This guy looks like the guy in the pictures." They stopped the bus. There's a $50,000 reward. I believe there's a $50,000 reward from the FBI and a $10,000 reward from the New York City Police. I could be wrong on those numbers, double check them. But there's a reward for him, so this McDonald's employee may have just made him or herself some money. And when they searched the bus and found this person's bag, they discovered inside the bag the gun, or a gun, that looks identical to the one that was used to shoot Brian Thompson, and several pieces of fake ID, including one from New Jersey, which was apparently the fake ID that he used to check into the youth hostel, or the hostel rather, in New York when he went there a week and a half before the assassination. So it looks like they've nailed the guy. I'm expecting within the next hour or two we will get a name, and that will probably lead us to a story. And I'm fully expecting that the story will have something to do with somebody in this kid's family. And I say kid, 26 years old, young man. Somebody in this young man's family having been harmed by, at least in his mind, by United Healthcare. 3 days after Brian Thompson was assassinated, the CEO of United Health Group, which owns United Healthcare, Andrew Whitty, circulated a 2.5-minute video to his employees, which is kind of bizarre. I mean, it's The Independent is writing about it. Justin Rorlick, he writes, United Health Group CEO Andrew Whitty told underlings that their work was, quote, critical in preventing the U.S. medical system from providing, quote, unnecessary care he claimed would eventually drive up costs to a, quote, unsustainable level, as he complained about the, quote, vitriolic media coverage of the shooting. Of course, he's talking about social media, where it seems, I haven't seen any official numbers. I'm not sure there's any official agency that tracks this kind of stuff, but it certainly seems to me like 9 out of 10 of the social media posts I've seen that have to do with the assassination of Brian Thompson have been basically cheering on the shooter, which is a really sad commentary on the state of the American healthcare system, that so many people are so angry about this system that basically has turned, the fate and future of Americans' lives over to, unelected corporations who then extract literally billions of dollars in profits and pay their executives literally millions of dollars in order to, have their profits, I guess. The 2-minute, 45-second speech, as I said, followed the assassination. United Healthcare reportedly has one of the highest denial rates in the entire healthcare industry. Was last year sued, I'm reading from the Independent here, for allegedly using a flawed AI algorithm to systematically deny care coverage to seniors. That would be through their Advantage program. Mr. Whitty told employees that Thompson was dedicated to the goal of United Healthcare's mission, which he says is to truly make sure that we help the system improve by helping the experience of individuals get better and better. I'm guessing many United Healthcare policyholders would disagree with that. Probably many would agree with it as well. It's if you're not in the 32% who've been, or the I don't know what percentage have had denials. Apparently it's 32% of all claims. But he claimed few people in the history of the U.S. healthcare industry have had a bigger positive effect on American healthcare than Brian. And I can just see people kind of gagging all over the country as they hear that. He said, "We guard against the pressures that exist for unsafe care or for unnecessary care to be delivered in a way which makes the whole system too complex and ultimately unsustainable." Well, the system is too complex and is unsustainable. It's going to cost us $55 to $60 trillion over the next 10 years if United Healthcare and their peer companies continue to play the major role in providing our health care and paying for our health care. Whereas if we went to Bernie Sanders' single-payer health care system, it would cost $32 trillion. There's a big difference between $50 trillion and $32 trillion over a decade. There's a huge difference. By the way, we also learned that the backpack that the shooter left in Central Park apparently was filled with Monopoly money. Now, what's that about? My guess, if I had to make a guess, and I suppose I might as well, is that he intended to sprinkle the money over the body of the guy he shot, but that he just, decided to flee instead, by way of saying, I'm killing you because of what you did for money. We'll see. I mean, in my article today, there is one sentence that I really struggled with, but ultimately this is how I wrote it. Essentially, United Healthcare's CEO Brian Thompson made decisions that killed Americans for a living in exchange for $10 million a year. He and his peers in the industry are probably paid as much as they are because there is an actual shortage of people with business training who are willing to oversee decisions that cause or allow others to die in exchange for millions in annual compensation. And this is a theme that we've delved into many times in this program, including with a number of guests who were psychiatrists, which is that there are studies that show that as many as 1 in 5 American CEOs are actually psychopaths, that psychopaths become some of the most successful business leaders because they just don't care what their actions do to average people. They only care for themselves and their company. They're singularly focused on that, which is, in essence, capitalism or corporate capitalism is psychopathic. It doesn't care. Corporations don't care what happened to their customers or what happens to the people that they interact with or even their impact on the local community, the environment, until or unless it impacts their profits. It's the only context in which they care. And I think that you could correctly define that as psychopathy.